Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. We have a lot of customers reaching out to us saying that they imported way too many contacts into Nimble and that they need and are interested in some cleanup tips. So today we will be looking at how you can clean up your Nimble database using Nimble's segmentation feature, as well as how to export your entire database into a CSV file, clean it up, and re-import. We will also go over some best practices for importing your contacts to help you keep your database clean. If you have any questions or feedback during today's session, please type them into the questions box and we will cover them at the end of today's session. For those of you that are either new to Nimble or are thinking about trialing it, let's quickly look at what Nimble CRM is. Nimble is an easy to use CRM that works for you in Office 365, G Suite, and everywhere else you work. It automatically combines your contacts, communication histories, email inboxes, and calendar appointments. It also integrates with social media and with over 200 different applications like MailChimp, Xero, Outlook Contacts, and more. For today's webinar, we'll jump right into the contact cleanup strategies. If you're interested in an overall demo of the application, you can either head to our YouTube channel and watch one of our previous webinars. The latest one will be from last week, or you can register for the next general Nimble overview that we're hosting next week. And Nadia, if you can drop a link to the webinar page in the chat box, that would be very helpful. The next training webinars are next Wednesday. It would be the general Nimble overview. And then the week after that, the contact segmentation, group messaging, and custom fields overview. Then we'll have another general Nimble overview. And then we'll go over the tasks and activity management. And then another general Nimble overview. I'm assuming that you get the pattern. So let's go into the app itself. Okay, so this is the contacts listing tab, and you can see that there's obviously a lot of information and it could get a little messy. So one of the best ways to ensure that you and your team will enjoy and continue using your CRM is to ensure that it has good data in it. The steps that we will cover in a little bit might mean a little bit of work on your end initially, but will definitely pay off in the long run, because the last thing you want to do is to spend hours cleaning up your database after you and your team members import contacts into Nimble. This is also important, as importing unnecessary contacts might take you closer to reaching the basic contacts limit, which is 25,000. There are upgrades available, and you can purchase an additional 10K contacts for an additional $10 per month. But if you're trying to keep your costs down, this is an important thing to consider. Some best practices for data import is to create a list of all your contact sources, clean up your data sources, create a contact organization strategy, delegate permission, inform your team about your contact organization strategy from the get-go. Before you start importing any contacts into Nimble, and especially before you invite any team members, you should create a list of all the places where your contacts reside. Your contacts may be in any or all of the following locations: Outlook or Google contacts, spreadsheets, LinkedIn, Twitter, third-party applications like QuickBooks, MailChimp, or more, or your current or former CRM. So Salesforce, Pipedrive, HubSpot, etc. Once you have the list of all your data sources, consider spending some time reviewing all your contact sources and deleting all contacts that don't have to be in your CRM. These could be any outdated or incomplete or personal contacts you might have in your Outlook, your Google or LinkedIn, or on Twitter. This part might be kind of time consuming, but it really does pay off in the long run. Sorry, my throat's a little dry today. Another important thing to do before you start importing your contacts is to think about how you'd like to organize your contacts. In Nimble, you can organize your contacts using tags and also custom data fields. You can use a combination of both as well. Before your team starts importing their contacts, consider coming up with a naming structure for your tags and data fields. So if your entire team is on Office 365, and it seems as though a lot of you have been using Office 365, and you'd like them all to import their Outlook contacts, it might be a good idea to ask them to tag their contacts using the same naming structure. An example would be like Outlook contacts, and then my name, Megan Ranger. When you're using Nimble as a team, it's important to think about how you will do so. So the account admin will be able to delegate permission or grant access to certain features within Nimble. So you would go to Settings, Billings, and then the Manage User tab. You can also add licenses from here. Okay, so you can also click into the users and access the permissions list. And you can grant permissions such as contacts bulk export or delete, pipeline management, ability to view and edit private deals, manage billing, and more. These options allow the admin to take precautions and protect your Nimble database if someone from your team decides to leave. They will not be able to take your database with them, or even worse, just delete everything before they go. So once you've figured out your contact organization strategy and know exactly how you want your CRM data to be organized, you should let your team know your strategy before they start importing as well. So create a document with instructions that you want everyone on your team to follow, and make sure everybody understands them before they start importing any contacts into Nimble. So let's go to the import screen. Employees are allowed to import contacts from the following sources while following the rules for import and contact organization. Outlook and Gmail contacts. Before importing, clean up your contacts to make sure you will only be importing important business contacts, and upon import, apply the following tags. So Outlook contacts, the name of the employee, or Outlook contacts, the name of the employee and the date. So kind of like what we talked about before. For LinkedIn contacts, you can export your LinkedIn connections from a CSV file and remove any personal connections or anybody that does not have to be imported into your CRM. For spreadsheets, you can either match the name of the columns in your CSV file to existing fields in Nimble before importing, or you can map them upon import. And then Nadia, if you don't mind sharing that article that I sent to you earlier, that would be great. With the Nimble PySync integration, you can set up any integration using PySync, and always ensure that you're using the tag that clearly states where contacts are coming from. Other social media contacts can only be imported into Nimble on a case-by-case basis. The best way to import individual prospects or customers into Nimble from various social media platforms is to use Nimble's prospector browser extension. And Nadia, if you don't mind sharing a link to the prospector page, that would be very helpful. And this is what the prospector looks like on LinkedIn. You can see that there's a couple duplicate records, and we'll get into how to clean those up later in the presentation. Well, right now, actually. We currently don't have a mass dedupe option in Nimble, but our team is working on a feature that should be available in 2020. So let's see what it looks like on an individual contact record. Okay, so you can find a person or a company in Nimble and click on the three dots next to the edit button on the left side of the contact record, which you can see right here. And then you can also use Nimble Prospector, as you saw on LinkedIn. It enables you to just hover over or highlight any name anywhere on the internet and either create a new contact record or surface an existing one to edit or take other actions on. As you hover over or highlight records on the web, Nimble will automatically be displaying the duplicates that might already exist in your database. You'll have the option to merge them straight from the place where you're using the browser extension from, as well as to select the primary contact record that will take over after you complete the merge. Okay, so let's see what it looks like from the Nimble contacts listing page, which is this view right here. Nimble can merge up to 4 duplicate contacts at a time. So let's pull up one that I know has a couple of duplicates. Aha. So yeah, you can merge up to 4 duplicates at a time, and you just go to the contact listing view, type in the person's name, and select the duplicate records that you want to merge, which would be this button right here. Please note if the option to merge does not become active, then you may have selected to merge a contact in a company. This action cannot be performed in Nimble. You can also use Nimble segmentation feature to clean up your database by using the various filters that we've set for you to use. You can segment your database using any existing fields in Nimble and also any custom fields you or anybody on your team may have created. So one way to clean up your database is to identify empty contact records. These might be contacts that don't contain any contact information or any history of interaction. So let's try using phone is empty. And oh, and you might have noticed if you're already using Nimble that we recently revamped our contact listing view, and it's a lot easier to use and looks pretty spiffy if I do say so myself. And then email is empty. And then last contacted by team. Not in the last, let's just say 10 days. So while it's working, this search will give us all the contacts that have never been contacted by anybody on your team, or at least not for a while, that uses Nimble, and you don't have any contact information on them. I think my internet's kind of slow because everyone's working from home nowadays, so apologize for the delay. If you really want to be sure that you're only going to be selecting empty contact records, you can add other fields to your search, like any Nimble address field is empty. After you've finalized your search, you can easily bulk delete all of the contacts. You can also use the segmentation to search for any tags that might contain duplicates. In case several of your employees have imported their Outlook contacts, you can check if any duplicate contacts were created. So you can also clean up the tags from the contact listing. Well, sorry about that. Definitely internet hiccup. So let's just move on to the contact listing. Okay. So you can click on Add Filter and then select Tag. And then you can start typing whatever tag you're looking for, such as Outlook, and then select all of the Outlook tags one by one and choose the Matches Any option, so Nimble displays just the contacts that have all selected tags applied to them. And then you can select up to 4 at a time and merge them. So if you identified a lot of similar tags and would like to create a one master tag instead, you can select all the existing tags that, for instance, contain Outlook, and then apply a master tag to all of the contacts tagged with all of these tags. You can then go to the main contact screen, which is this one. Oh, back to list. And select all the individual tags that you no longer need from the list and delete them. When deleting tags from the main contacts list, Nimble deletes the entire tag as opposed to only deleting the tag of the one when you are individual or a company record you might be on. So another way to clean up your database is to select all contacts and then export to a CSV file. When exported, you can review the file and manually clean it up, or use an Excel or Google Sheet function to identify and delete duplicates. You can also delete any information from any field as well as to fill in any custom fields that then have the information bulk import into any of them at once. When you are done with your file, make sure that you saved it back to a CSV format and import it back to Nimble. You can import multiple tags to various different contacts from inside your file, or if you'd only be applying one tag, you can tag the entire file upon import. So that kind of covers the basic strategies for cleaning up your contact database. So I would like to again remind you of the next training webinars, and then feel free to register whichever one works for you. And we also have a special offer for new users. If you sign up today, you get 30 days of Nimble for free. If you're currently in trial, you can reach out to care@nimble.com and we will extend your offer or your trial for you so you can also enjoy those free 30 days. So now it is time for questions. Let me pull up the questions doc. Oops. One second. Okay. Sergey, did we have any questions?
I had a few and I answered all of them privately. Oh, then I'll have more coming.
Okay. I'll let you take the wheel on this one.
I do mention presenter role.
Do you want to be the presenter? Okay, 1 second.
So one of the questions, or you can show it yourself, since I don't have it set up. So one of the questions is, can you quickly show us again to delete all contacts without emails?
Oh, I'm deleting the contacts without emails?
Yes. So to do that, you go to your segment, you create an email, search an email is empty. So bring all of your contacts that don't have an email. So you select all of them and open this checkbox to the right, so it will delete all of them. You now only have 30 out of 34 selected.
Oh.
So click on the checkbox, edit, or like load more contacts to get all of them. Yeah. So you get all of them, and now you click delete, and it will delete all of them. Again. Again, did you click delete?
Oh, I didn't want to actually delete them, but I could.
Oh yeah, yeah. So if you click the delete button, it will delete all of these contacts, and all of the contacts that you deleted, they will go to trash bin, which is a separate filter on the left called remove contacts, and you can recover them if you need some, or if you delete them accidentally. But yeah, this is the way to delete all of the contacts. Second question, if you delete contacts while you are in this CSV, when you re-upload the file, how does Nimble match missing records and delete them? Okay, so I guess the question is how Nimble matches data from CSV file to the contacts that are already in the database. And when you go to the CSV Wizard, it will allow you to select a merge strategy. So you can either select to merge only by email, or you can select to merge by email and then first name, last name, or company name. It will search the database for exact matches and match contact records based on that. So next question is, are there strategies to use lead sources types for cleanup? So yeah, we have lead type, lead status, and lead source types for contacts. And these are default fields that we create for every customer account. You can go to your settings and custom fields and change values in those fields, or to go to my account and then select data fields on the left. So yeah, if you select lead type, lead status, or lead source, just click on any of those fields. So yeah, here are all the values that we create for you by default, and you can go and add more fields or remove some of them, reorder whatever you want to do with this field, or you can create a custom field with values that you need. After you have this done, you will be able to just segment by this field. So you can build a search based on any of the values in this field. You can edit this field everywhere. So if you go to listing, it will be showing you the lead source, lead type, and all the fields. Like I'm going to go to the listing so we can show it how it works.
Sorry, the listing?
Go to the contact list.
Oh, okay.
Go to the contact tab. So you can see this lead type, lead status. So you can in live edit this field right there, and you can build search based on this field. So if you go to segment search and you like select lead type, you'll be able to just filter by any value you want. And then you can also edit this field everywhere you work with Nimble Prospector. So on the Nimble Prospector, it's in the first screen, you can just go and edit this field. Of course, you can tag the contacts based on the whatever you selected. You can segment them, send them group messages, and do whatever you want with any segment you built in Nimble. Okay, so next question was, can you show how to create and apply a tag to existing records? So this is quite easy actually. So there are two ways to do this. First is just go into individual records, and there is a tags box right there. So you can just go and quickly add a tag to an individual contact. And then just click save, it will work. Or you can go to contact list, and you can select multiple contacts and then use our bulk tag. So just type a tag in that box, and it will apply a tag for all the selected contacts. So yeah, and then if you import data from the CSV or any other import source, then there will be a dialog box that allows you to select a tag that will be applied to all of the contacts imported to that list. And in case it merges contacts, you will be able to it will assign this tag to merged contact record as well. So the next question was, since records include task, contact history, etc., does all of that flow through in the CSV output? No. So basic contact CSV output will not include the contacts related entities. So any activities, anything that is assigned to the record, like emails, they will not be exported to the contact. We will only have data fields that are on the contact record, and inside your data fields tab. Next question was, is there a way to permanently set the table settings? Every time I think I've set it, in preference, when I refresh the page, the setting goes back to original. So yeah, if you save the search, Megan, if you can deselect the contacts and show us how to create a new search. So go create a segment. Let's use our previous example with email is empty. And then click configure table on the right, top right corner. And then move email to be the first one, just drag and drop it. And then pin it so it will not scroll. Use this pin icon. Okay, so now just change the name of the search, like at the top, where the new segment search now. Like let's name email is empty and save the search. Okay, so now the search will, like if you go back to the other listing and go back to email is empty.
Like that?
Yeah. So go to CO at Nimble and then go back to email is empty. It should save the. And then go back. So it will save the searches inside. The column layout for click back to email is empty. What? So I guess we have some kind of bug with this. This functionality actually was released this morning, and but it's supposed to save the column layout, and this is the way to do it. We will follow up with you to as soon as this resolves soon. Okay. Next question. If you export to CSV file, will it cancel any notes that you may have taken for that particular contact? No, so export to the CSV file. Export to the CSV file will not damage any of your data, so it will stay the same. And when you import the data back, it will be merged in the contact record, but never delete any data. So your notes or any related entities to the contacts will stay safe, and you don't have to worry about it. So this is the part. Yeah. So as I said, the note and deals, like anything that is attached to the record, note, deals, messages, and so on, they are not part of the record itself. It's related entities, and whatever you change with the contact will not affect them. So even if you accidentally remove the contact and it goes to trash bin, your notes and everything is safe. And once you restore it from trash bin, it will be all there. Next question. If you delete a record by merging it outside of Nimble, Google Sheets, then how will the upload ensure that delete the record? So yeah, for this use case, if you delete your record in the CSV and then just upload it back there, it will not delete the record inside Nimble. So the way to do it, if you want to delete it, is just tag the initial export, like say before import, and then after import, and then build a search. Like when you import the edited data back to Nimble, you just go and tag it with some other tag, and then you find all the people who have one tag and not other, and this will show you the people who wasn't part of your CSV import, and you can just manually delete them from Nimble if you need to do so. Hey, William had a question about storage, and storage is affected by data you store in Nimble, so it's contact records, pictures, emails, and attachments mostly, as well as documents that are attached to the contact record. And yeah, most likely if you're new to Nimble and your storage filled up quickly, is that attachment from your email. You have a lot of attachments in your emails, and that's what took your storage. Please follow up with our care team, and they will help you to get through this and answer in more detail. Okay, the next question was, how could you share how to merge contacts from MailChimp? So we don't have MailChimp export ready, but Megan, if you can go to our networks and import tab. So there are two ways to do it. So first of all is you can synchronize contacts bidirectionally using our Quick Connect. So if you search for MailChimp in the service name, yeah, so you can set up this with using our provider with our partner with PySync. So they will give you up to 3,000 contact, up to 2,000 contacts per month for free. So it will synchronize without you needing to do anything. The other way, yeah, you can accept it. But the other way, if you go into our CSV Wizard, so search for CSV and import CSV, upload any CSV, or click Save Mappings, just to show what mappings we have. Oh no, it's not. So if you go and upload any CSV file, we will present you with some predefined mappings. And I believe that we have MailChimp there as well. So this is an easy way for you to do it. Or if you don't have MailChimp, then you will be able to select columns and map columns by yourself. Or Megan, if you can throw in any CSV file you have so we can just show how it works. Just choose any file, any CSV file you have on your computer.
I don't think you want to take the screen.
I just have many monitors. Let me just send you a CSV file so you can show it.
Okay.
Right, send you a file.
Okay. Downloading. Okay. Okay. Can you see my screen again?
Yeah, you can see.
Okay, so drag it.
Yeah, so we have MailChimp there.
It doesn't look like it.
Yeah, so, okay, so then just click next and it'll show you how to map your columns by yourself. So we uploading and analyzing file. So we'll try to match it for you automatically, but then you can correct anything that we did wrong or add your own mappings if you want to. And as soon as it processes it, you'll get the wizard. Okay, so this is your wizard, and you have column names from the. So column name that is from your CSV file. So this is the first column that you have in your CSV file, and then you have Nimble field. So this you have to select a mapping to a Nimble field inside the Nimble account. So if you go to contact info, for example, you can map to any field that you have in your database, including custom fields. And on the right, you have this data preview that is showing you example of data from your file. And once you do it, you select all the unmapped fields, so like skip some of them if you don't need them. You can save the mapping for future use. And so like select company name to company name and skip the rest so we can show the next step. Yeah, so select parent company and then skip all of these fields in the popover. So now you can save mapping. So you can just click save mapping and say, okay, this is my company mapping. It will, and then reuse it later. Okay. So save mapping, click next. And then on this screen, you can see that you have the tags dialog box. So this tags that will be applied to this import. And you have this option that I mentioned earlier about how to merge and how to merge your data with existing. So you can select to only add CSV data to match contact records and never overwrite existing contact fields, or you can select to trust your CSV file and override the data if you match the contact. And then you have control for how to merge people and how to merge companies from this file. And then once you click finish, the operation is in background, so it depends on the size of the file. It will take some time, usually like about 2-3 minutes for big files, and you will get an email once that is done. So I hope it answered your question. So that was the last questions we have now.
Okay, thanks for And that wraps up our presentation for today. We hope to see you next week when we do our general Nimble overview. Have a good day.